The planet Zyphora glimmered under the light of its 3 suns, its surface dotted with vast mining colonies and towering crystal spires. Life there was harsh but productive. The Tralcans, a proud and disciplined species, had built a civilization that relied heavily on their mining operations. Their wealth and influence across nearby star systems were unrivaled, but even the strongest empires faced danger. A sudden and unforeseen catastrophe struck Zyphora. Deep in the outer asteroid belt, a cluster of massive asteroids had been knocked off course by a distant supernova's gravitational pull. Calculations showed they were heading straight for the mining colonies. Each asteroid was larger than a small city, and impact would mean certain death for millions of Tralcans. Panic swept through the planet's cities and command centers. In the High Council chamber of Zyphora's capital, the elders convened in urgent discussion. "Our shields cannot hold them all," said Elder Thryn, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the room's holographic projections of the incoming asteroids. "Even our best fleets cannot deflect this storm. We will be destroyed." Councillor Valera, younger and known for her daring strategies, spoke next. "There is one option, though it is unconventional. The humans. We may need to request their assistance." A tense silence followed. Humans were known across the galaxy as unpredictable. They were strong, clever, and stubborn, but they were often underestimated by other species. Pride swelled in the chamber. Calling for help from another species felt like admitting weakness. Finally, Elder Thryn nodded. "Prepare a message. If we are to survive, we must swallow our pride." Thousands of light years away aboard the human starship Resolute, Commander Alex Mercer received the Tralcon's message. The signal was urgent but respectful. Humans rarely received requests for aid from other species, but when they did, it often meant the situation was dire. Mercer leaned back in his chair, studying the holographic map of Zyphora's orbit. "Asteroid storm?" he said quietly. "These Tralcons are serious. We can't just ignore this." His crew, a mix of engineers, pilots, and tactical specialists, watched him. "Commander, their shields won't hold. The projections show multiple impacts within hours. If we intervene, millions of lives could be saved." Mercer nodded. "Prepare the fleet. We're going to show them what humanity is capable of." Upon arrival in Zyphora's orbit, humans quickly assessed the situation. The asteroid cluster was immense, tumbling unpredictably through space. Even the Tralcon's advanced scanning systems could not accurately track each rock. "Commander, the projections are worse than we thought," said Lieutenant Kira Voss, the ship's chief tactical officer. "If even one asteroid hits a colony, it could level an entire city." Mercer's face remained calm. "We don't have time for hesitation. Deploy the drones. Set up the tractor arrays. We're moving them off course one by one if we have to." The humans worked with a combination of ingenuity and determination. Tiny drones attached to the asteroids, emitting controlled energy pulses to shift their paths. Tralcan engineers looked on in amazement. The humans were precise, calculating angles and velocities in real time, their methods unlike anything the Tralcons had seen. Hours passed, and slowly, the asteroid storm began to change direction. The colonies below were safe, and the people could breathe again. Elder Thryn approached Mercer in the command center. "I must admit, your methods are unlike any we have encountered. We owe you a debt." Mercer allowed a small smile. "We don't do this for debt, sir. We help because it's the right thing to do. But remember, we never forget a favor, and if the day comes that we need to repay one, the galaxy will feel it." The Tralcons regarded him with a mixture of respect and unease. They had underestimated humans, assuming them to be simple, predictable creatures. That notion was now shattered. As humans departed Zyphora, life on the planet began returning to normal. Markets reopened, children played among the crystal spires, and miners returned to their work. The Tralcons held gatherings, debating the meaning of what had just happened. Valera spoke to a crowd in the capital. "Humans are not like us. They do not seek power. They do not crave conquest. But they are clever, brave, and persistent. We may have saved our cities today, but their presence is a reminder that favors are never forgotten, and humans never forgive or forget a debt." Some elders shook their heads, wary of becoming dependent on another species, but deep down they knew humanity was different. Their ingenuity and courage had saved millions of lives, and that fact would not be easily ignored in the future. Back on the Resolute, Mercer and his crew prepared for their next mission. They discussed the asteroid maneuver with pride, but Mercer reminded them that the galaxy was full of challenges. What we did here matters, yes, but there are bigger storms ahead, literal and metaphorical. Remember this, helping others is not weakness, it's strength. And when the time comes, humanity will never forget a favor given or received. Lieutenant Voss smiled. Do you think they understand what you meant? Mercer shrugged. Maybe, maybe not. But someday, they'll see what humans are capable of when pushed to their limits. The crew knew he was right. Humanity had a reputation across certain corners of the galaxy, but this mission reinforced it in a way few others could. They were problem solvers, risk takers, and defenders when needed. And unlike most species, they never forgot a debt or a favor. In the Tralcon command centers, the leaders debated what this might mean for their future. Will they return if we call on them? One elder asked. Valira's voice was calm but firm. I believe they will. Humans are predictable in their unpredictability. They never ignore a favor, and when the time comes to repay it, the results can be overwhelming. We have been warned, whether we understand it or not. Outside, the skies of Zyphora shone brightly, a reminder of survival and human ingenuity. For the Tralcons, it was both a relief and a subtle warning. Their alliance with humanity was formed not from politics or treaties, but from a simple act of bravery, and in the universe, no act of bravery ever goes unnoticed. Weeks passed, and Zyphora returned to normal operations. Mining continued, trade resumed, and life seemed peaceful once again. Yet in the shadows, distant eyes watched the humans' actions with caution. Across the stars, rival species took note. If humans could save an entire planet from certain destruction, what might they do when provoked? The seeds of respect and fear had been planted. Humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage not as conquerors, but as allies whose power, ingenuity, and courage could not be ignored. Commander Mercer and his crew, meanwhile, traveled onward to the next mission, unaware that the favor they had performed would echo across the stars, shaping events in ways no one yet imagined. And somewhere in the galaxy, a new chapter was beginning, one that would show that mankind, once indebted, never overlooked a favor. And when they returned to repay it, the results could shake worlds. Months had passed since humans had saved Zyphora. The Tralcons were rebuilding their colonies and fortifying their mining operations. Life seemed to return to normal, and the asteroid threat became a story told to young Tralcon children. A story of bravery, ingenuity, and survival. But peace, the galaxy had learned, was always fragile. High above Zyphora's atmosphere, a fleet of unknown warships appeared on long-range sensors. The Tralcons had never seen such vessels before. Sleek, dark, and enormous, they moved with an efficiency that suggested experience in combat. Commander Valira was among the first to realize the danger. They're Krithar, she said grimly, using the name whispered in history files, a militaristic empire from beyond our borders. They seek to control Zyphora's resources. The Tralcons' defense fleets were strong, but the Krithar were overwhelming in number. The planet's orbital defenses would not last an hour against such advanced weaponry. Panic spread across command centers. Counselor Thrin summoned the leadership. We are outmatched, he said. Our fleets alone cannot stop them. We face annihilation. Valira stood firm, recalling the humans' aid during the asteroid storm. There is another way, she said. We must contact the humans again. We owe them, and they do not forget debts. The council hesitated. Requesting human help a second time was risky. Humans were unpredictable, and interstellar travel took time. Zyphora's very survival hung in the balance, but desperation overcame pride. A message was sent, encoded and urgent. It reached Earth faster than any previous communication. On Earth, Commander Alex Mercer was in the midst of training exercises with the human fleet. He reviewed reports of disturbances in distant sectors when the Tralcon message arrived. The distress call was unlike any ordinary request for aid. Commander, Lieutenant Kira Voss said, pointing to the holographic map. They are being invaded. Millions of lives are at stake. If we do not respond, Zyphora may fall completely. Mercer's jaw tightened. We saved them once. We don't leave debts unpaid. Prepare the fleet. We go to Zyphora. The humans move swiftly. The fleet assembled, advanced ships gliding silently through warp corridors. Engineers calibrated energy shields and weapon arrays. Pilots ran simulations for the upcoming engagement. Every crew member understood the stakes. The galaxy had underestimated humans once, and they would not make the same mistake twice. When the human fleet entered Zephora's sector, the situation was worse than expected. Krythar ships had already begun bombardments and orbital defenses were failing. Cities shook under heavy strikes and smoke rose from industrial districts. Valira contacted Mercer immediately. "Commander, thank the stars you are here. We cannot hold them. They have far greater numbers than we anticipated." Mercer's voice was calm but firm. "We'll handle it. Evacuate civilians to underground shelters. Our priority is protecting life while neutralizing their fleet." Humans quickly deployed tactical drones to analyze enemy movements. The Krythar were aggressive but rigid in strategy. They attacked in predictable waves. Mercer smiled slightly. Predictability was a weakness humans had long exploited. "Prepare the first strike," he ordered. "We'll show them that humans are more than allies. They are a force to be reckoned with." The battle began with precise timing. Human drones moved ahead of the main fleet, targeting enemy shields and communications. Krythar ships, powerful but unprepared for the tactics humans employed, began to falter. Humans used Zephora's asteroid belt strategically, maneuvering the rocks into defensive patterns and, in some cases, directing them as controlled strikes against enemy vessels. From the Tralcon's observation decks, the humans' efficiency was breathtaking. Small squadrons of fighters executed impossible maneuvers, weaving through enemy fire while delivering pinpoint attacks. Larger capital ships provided supporting fire, disabling Krythar engines and weapon systems with calculated precision. "Look at them," Valera whispered to a nearby officer. "They are not just fighting, they are thinking. Every move is deliberate. Every action has a purpose. The Krythar do not understand this level of strategy." Mercer's crew communicated constantly, sharing real-time updates. Engineers recalibrated energy shields mid-battle. Pilots dodged and attacked in perfect synchronization. Humans had turned what seemed impossible into an orchestrated symphony of defense and counterattack. The first wave of Krythar ships was repelled, leaving several vessels disabled or drifting aimlessly in orbit. Tralcans, who had once doubted the humans' abilities, now watched in awe. This was not merely luck or brute strength. This was ingenuity, coordination, and courage. Valira turned to her command team. "They said humans never forget a favor. Now we understand. Humanity's debt to us is paid not with words but with power and precision." The Krythar were stunned. Their numbers had seemed unbeatable, but the humans' strategy had turned the tide. Commander Mercer, aware that overconfidence could be dangerous, kept pressure on the enemy. "Do not let them recover," he said. "We strike again, and this time we make sure they cannot regroup." As night fell on Zephora, the skies above burned with energy discharges and explosions. Humans used every advantage the planet offered: asteroid belts, gravitational anomalies, and tactical misdirection to weaken the Krythar fleet. Civilian evacuation continued smoothly, thanks to Tralcan cooperation and human organization. Despite heavy bombardment, not a single human ship was lost to reckless action. Their combination of calculated risk and careful planning allowed them to dominate the battlefield without unnecessary sacrifice. Valira found herself in a quiet moment, observing the human pilots. "They are extraordinary," she said. "They do not fight for glory, only for purpose. Their purpose drives them beyond fear. No wonder they say humanity never overlooks a favor. They act when it matters most. And they act with results that shake worlds." As the battle progressed, Krythar leaders realized that their approach was failing. Their rigid strategies were ineffective against humans' flexible and adaptive tactics. They attempted to retreat to a nearby system, hoping to regroup, but the humans anticipated this. Mercer deployed rapid response squads to intercept escapees, cutting off potential reinforcements. Using intelligent tracking and predictive movement algorithms, humans trapped Krythar ships in a containment pattern. Within hours, Zephora's orbit was clear of enemy vessels, and the planet was safe, at least for the moment. Valira approached Mercer via holo communication. Her voice was calm, tinged with relief. "You have saved our world again. I cannot thank you enough." Mercer smiled faintly. "It was never about thanks. It was about doing what was right. Remember what I told you before, we never forget a favor. If the day comes that humanity is called to repay one, the results will be beyond what anyone expects." The Tralcans absorbed the weight of his words. Humans had demonstrated their capability to act decisively, creatively, and fearlessly. To underestimate them again would be a grave mistake. With Xiphora safe, humans worked alongside Tralcons to repair orbital stations and stabilize remaining defenses. Civilians emerged from shelters, witnessing the scale of the human operation. Children stared at human ships hovering in the sky, dreaming of the courage and ingenuity they had seen. For the Tralcons, the lesson was clear. Humans were not merely allies, they were a force that could reshape galactic politics. Their influence would ripple far beyond the asteroid storm, or even the Krithar invasion. Mercer addressed his crew aboard the Resolute as they prepared to leave Xiphora's orbit. "Remember this," he said. "Humanity does not fight for conquest or fame. We fight because it is right. And when someone shows trust or a favor, we honor it. That is how we protect life and shape the galaxy." Lieutenant Voss nodded. "Do you think the Tralcons understand what we mean?" Mercer's eyes reflected the stars outside. "They will. They have seen what humans can do, and the galaxy will remember too. One favor, repaid at the right time, can change everything." As the human fleet departed Xiphora, leaving a grateful and awed population behind, distant observers from neighboring systems took note. The actions of a single species had shifted the balance of power, proving that humanity was not just clever and brave, but a force no one could ignore, somewhere in the galaxy. Whispers began, tales of humans who never forget a favor, and whose return to repay it could shake entire worlds. And for the Tralcons, the lesson was unforgettable. The debt had been paid in full, and humanity's reputation as a decisive, unstoppable force had been solidified. The Krithar Empire, humiliated by their failed attack on Xiphora, retreated to their outer defense stations to regroup. Their pride burned as fiercely as their engines, but for the first time they feared the humans. Commander Alex Mercer and his fleet, however, were relentless. Humanity did not fight for pride or conquest. They fought to protect life and honor a debt. And now, the Krithar would learn that humanity's ingenuity extended far beyond defense. The human fleet hovered silently in Xiphora's sector, waiting for the enemy to make the next move. Mercer studied the holographic displays, mapping Krithar patrol routes and defense stations. "They'll strike again, but this time we'll be ready," he said. "Predictability is their weakness. We'll turn it into their downfall." Lieutenant Kira Voss, piloting one of the advanced reconnaissance drones, scanned the surrounding systems. "Commander, they're massing ships near the Valar cluster. Estimates suggest over 200 capital vessels, plus support squadrons. They're preparing a full assault." Mercer's eyes narrowed. "Then we hit first. Prepare the strike teams. This will be decisive." The humans coordinated with the Tralcons, who had now come to fully appreciate the human approach to war. "We will provide orbital support," Valera said. "But it is clear your methods are beyond our understanding," Mercer smiled. "We don't just fight with strength. We fight with thinking. Strategy is just as important as firepower." Human engineers worked quickly, retrofitting several cargo drones into high-speed assault units. These small, nimble machines could navigate asteroid fields, disable enemy shields, and relay precise targeting data to the larger fleet. Pilots trained with simulation software that allowed them to anticipate enemy moves before they even occurred. The humans' first strike was not just a battle. It was a carefully choreographed operation. Timing, precision, and adaptability were key. Every vessel, drone, and squadron had a role, and each human crew member understood that their actions would determine the outcome of an entire system. At dawn, Xiphora time, the first strike began. Small squadrons of human fighters darted from hidden asteroid positions, weaving between enemy ships and concentrating fire on the Krithar command vessels. Drones slipped past shields to deliver electromagnetic pulses, temporarily disabling engines and weapons. Larger human capital ships fired coordinated volleys to keep the enemy occupied, dividing their attention and spreading them thin. The Tralcons observed in awe. "It is perfect," Valera whispered. "Every action calculated, every attack timed. They are not just fighting. They are thinking ahead, anticipating every move." Mercer's voice came over the command channel, calm and firm. "Focus on the command ships. Disable them first. Once their leaders are out of the picture, the rest will falter." Krithar commanders, confident in their numbers, attempted to regroup and counterattack. but the humans had anticipated their moves. Human fighters, moving faster than the enemy could track, disabled key communication relays, isolating Krythar units from one another. Drones hacked enemy shields, opening vulnerabilities for precision strikes. In orbit, humans used Zyphora's natural asteroid belts as weapons. Carefully calculated energy pulses nudged large rocks into trajectories that forced Krythar vessels to divert or suffer collisions. The combination of strategy, adaptability, and relentless pressure left the Krythar struggling to respond. One squadron, led by pilot Jace Nolan, executed a daring maneuver. They split off from the main fleet, threading through a dense asteroid field to reach the Krythar flagship. Using a coordinated EMP strike, they disabled the ship's weapons and navigation systems, leaving it adrift and vulnerable. "Flagship down," Nolan reported, adrenaline coursing through his veins. "Repeatable pattern confirmed. Other ships will follow." As the Krythar flagship fell, morale among the enemy fleet plummeted. Their formations broke, leaving individual ships exposed. The humans, however, did not relent. Mercer ordered relentless pursuit, ensuring no Krythar vessel could escape unscathed. Every strike was precise, calculated, and efficient. Valira turned to her counselors. "I have never seen such skill. The humans fight differently than anyone else. They are brave, yes, but more importantly, they are clever. Every attack, every defense, every maneuver is planned and adapted in real time." In the midst of the chaos, civilian evacuation continued smoothly below. Humans coordinated with Tralcon teams to transport civilians to secure underground shelters. Not a single life was lost thanks to careful planning and coordination. The Krythar, meanwhile, realized too late that they had underestimated their opponent. Numbers alone could not win against humans who combined intelligence, courage, and adaptability in ways no other species had seen. As the first strike concluded, the Krythar suffered heavy losses. Nearly half of their fleet was destroyed or disabled. Command ships were in disarray, and retreating vessels were intercepted by humans' rapid response units. Zyphora's orbit, once a scene of imminent doom, was now secure. Mercer addressed the fleet. "This is just the beginning. We have shown what humans can do when a favor is repaid. The enemy will regroup, but they will remember this lesson. They will not underestimate us again." Valira's voice, through the communication channel, carried a mix of relief and respect. "You have saved us again, Commander. I fear the Krythar will think twice before challenging humans in the future. They have learned that a favor repaid by humanity can shake even the strongest fleets." Mercer's response was measured.
"It is not about fear.
It is about responsibility. We honor the lives we protect and the promises we keep. That is what makes humans different. And one day, if the galaxy threatens our allies again, we will act. They will see the results firsthand." In the aftermath of the first strike, humans worked with Tralcons to repair damage to the colony's orbital stations and defensive grids. Engineers recalibrated energy shields, rebuilt communication relays, and reinforced critical infrastructure. Pilots and soldiers ensured that every vulnerable point was covered, leaving no weakness that the Krythar could exploit. Valira walked among her people, explaining the human methods and their lessons. "Humans are not conquerors," she said. "They fight to protect, to save lives, and to honor debts. Their actions remind us that courage without wisdom is incomplete, and strength without purpose is wasted. We owe them more than words can express." Across Zyphora, children looked up at the stars, dreaming of the humans who had appeared when hope seemed lost. To them, humans were not just heroes. They were a symbol of what could be achieved when bravery, ingenuity, and determination combined. Mercer, aboard the Resolute, debriefed his crew. "We have achieved a significant victory, but we cannot relax," he said. "The Krythar will not surrender easily. They will attempt counterattacks, sabotage, or ambushes. We must anticipate, adapt, and act again if necessary. That is what humanity does. We do not ignore debts, and we do not retreat when lives are at stake." Lieutenant Voss smiled. "Do you think the Tralcons fully understand what we mean when we say we never forget a favor?" Mercer looked at the distant stars. "They will. They have seen it in action. And the galaxy will remember it too. One favor repaid with courage and precision can shake worlds." As night fell over Zyphora, the skies cleared. Stars shimmered above the planet, a reminder that the worst had passed for now. Humans, however, knew this was just the beginning. The Krythar Empire, though weakened, would not accept defeat quietly. Future battles would test every skill, every strategy, and every ounce of courage. Yet, humans were ready. They had proven that even against overwhelming odds, ingenuity, courage, and honor could change the course of events. They had shown that a favor, once given, was never forgotten, and when repaid it could alter the destiny of entire worlds. The first strike had ended. But the war and humanity's legend was only beginning. The Krathar Empire had retreated, licking the wounds of their defeat. Their pride was wounded, but their determination burned hotter than ever. In the shadowed halls of their flagship, High Commander Rylock paced before a glowing holographic map of the Zephora sector. They underestimated humans, Rylock growled. One strike and our fleet is broken. They are clever, dangerous, and relentless. We must adapt or we will lose everything. His officers exchanged nervous glances. The humans' methods were unlike anything they had faced before. Their strategy combined intelligence, agility, and precision in ways that no other species could match. Rylock's voice hardened. We regroup, strike fast, and hit harder. If we target the humans' allies, the Tralkans, perhaps we can force them into retreat. Meanwhile, across Zephora, humans were already analyzing enemy patterns. Commander Alex Mercer studied recent battle data, observing every movement of the Krathar fleet. They're planning a counterattack, he said calmly. But they still think linearly. They assume we'll defend predictably. We'll show them humans never fight like anyone else. Lieutenant Kira Voss projected a map of the Krathar regrouping. Commander, their fleet is reforming near the Valar cluster. They've added reinforcements, over 300 ships now. But we've identified weaknesses in their formation. Mercer nodded. We don't just defend. We anticipate, we strike, and we protect, prepare rapid response teams, and coordinate with Tralkan defenses. We'll take the fight to them before they can execute their plan fully. As humans prepared, Zephora's surface and orbit were alive with activity. Civilians were trained in basic safety drills. Tralkan engineers reinforced planetary shields, and human pilots ran simulations for the incoming battle. Every detail was calculated. Humans thrived on preparation, precision, and foresight, turning potential chaos into organized action. Valira watched the humans with growing respect. They do not just fight for themselves, she said. They fight for allies, for justice, and for promises. Their strength is not just power. It is the combination of courage, intelligence, and unwavering determination. Mercer's voice came over the comms. Prepare for the counterstrike. We hit them in 3 coordinated waves. Each move will force them to react, and every reaction will create an advantage for us. This is not just battle. It is human ingenuity in action. The first wave launched at dawn. Human strike teams moved with extraordinary speed, navigating asteroid belts, gravitational anomalies, and enemy detection fields. Small squadrons disabled Krathar sensors and shields, opening gaps for the larger fleet to exploit. Pilot Jace Nolan led a squadron through a dense asteroid cluster. Commander, we're in position. Initiating diversion sequence. His voice was steady, adrenaline-controlled. The squadron created false energy signatures, confusing the Krathar fleet into splitting formations, leaving key command ships exposed. Meanwhile, human engineers on orbital stations transmitted precise targeting data. Krathar vessels that had seemed invincible now found themselves vulnerable to coordinated attacks. Explosions tore through enemy lines and chaos rippled across the battlefield. Valira observed from Zephora's command deck. It is like watching a storm of strategy, she whispered. Every move calculated, every strike deliberate. Humans are not just strong, they are unpredictable in the most effective way. The Krathar, furious and desperate, attempted to strike at Zephora itself. Missiles and energy beams rained down on the planet, but humans anticipated these moves. Rapid response interceptors neutralized incoming attacks, while Tralkan defensive platforms fired with human guidance. Civilians are safe, Mercer reported calmly. We are in control. Focus on the fleet. The humans' second wave focused on cutting Krathar reinforcements from the main fleet. Using coordinated drone strikes and rapid maneuvers, they isolated small groups of ships and disabled their engines. Krathar crews struggled to communicate or regroup, and frustration mounted. Commander, Voss reported, we've disrupted their command hierarchy. Most of their fleet is reacting instead of planning. They are falling into our traps. Mercer allowed a faint smile, exactly as expected. This is what humans do. They turn chaos into opportunity. Keep pressure on them. Never let them think they are safe. As the third wave approached, the humans prepared for a decisive strike. Their fleet was positioned near a field of drifting asteroids. Mercer used the terrain to maximum advantage, calculating trajectories, velocities, and timing to ensure every move counted. Jace Nolan and his squadron were tasked with striking the Krithar flagship again, this time in a coordinated assault with capital ships. "Target confirmed," Nolan said. "We're going in." The flagship's shields flickered under precise attacks. Drones disrupted its energy cores while human fighters delivered synchronized strikes at critical points. Within minutes, the Krithar flagship was crippled, its crew forced to abandon ship. The rest of the Krithar fleet, seeing their command destroyed, faltered. Confusion spread and their coordination collapsed. Humans moved quickly to intercept any remaining vessels attempting escape. Valera's voice carried over the comms. "I have never seen such control in battle. The humans do not just fight, they orchestrate. Even when outnumbered, they create order from chaos." The Krithar commander Rylok watched helplessly as his fleet crumbled. His pride could not save him. The humans had outmaneuvered, outthought, and outperformed his entire force. For the first time, he understood what other species had long whispered about humanity. They were unpredictable, relentless, and brilliant. Mercer addressed his fleet once the battle was clearly won. "Humanity does not seek conquest, but we honor our promises. Today we have protected life, defended an ally, and shown that a favor once given is never forgotten. Let this be a warning to anyone who underestimates us in the future." The aftermath of the battle left Zephora secure. Humans worked with Tralcan engineers to repair orbital stations and stabilize remaining defenses. Civilians emerged from shelters, witnessing human ships hovering above the planet like guardians of the stars. Valera addressed her people. "We owe humanity more than gratitude. They fight not for themselves, but for what is right. Their ingenuity, courage, and strategy have saved us not once, but twice. Remember this. Humans never overlook a favor, and when repaying one, their actions can shake entire worlds." Across Zephora, children looked up at the stars with newfound awe. The humans were more than heroes. They were symbols of courage, intelligence, and hope. Their methods had shown that the universe could be challenged, that bravery combined with wisdom could overcome even the most powerful enemies. Mercer, aboard the Resolute, reviewed the battle logs with his crew. "This was a decisive victory, but the galaxy is vast. The Krithar will not give up easily. We must remain vigilant, adaptable, and ready for whatever comes next. Humanity does not retreat when lives are at stake, and we never forget a debt or a favor." Voss nodded. "Do you think the Tralcans truly understand what we mean?" Mercer's eyes reflected the distant stars. "They understand the results. That is enough. Actions speak louder than words. One favor repaid with courage and intelligence can echo across the galaxy, and this is only the beginning." As Zephora's skies cleared, the humans prepared to leave the sector. Their presence had left a lasting impression, not just on the Tralcans, but on the Krithar and anyone observing from afar. Humanity had proven that even when faced with overwhelming odds, intelligence, courage, and strategy could achieve the impossible. The galaxy was changing, and humans were at the forefront. Their legend was growing, whispered across star systems, a species that never overlooks a favor, a species whose actions could shake entire worlds. The reckoning had been delivered, and humanity, calm but resolute, was ready for whatever challenges the stars would bring next. The Krithar Empire had regrouped in a distant system, nursing the wounds of their repeated defeats. Their pride had been shattered, and their leaders debated fiercely over the next move. High Commander Rylok paced the command deck of his flagship, his eyes scanning reports of the humans' actions. "They are not just fighters," Rylok admitted reluctantly. "They are strategists, problem solvers, and fearless. They adapt faster than we can anticipate. Zephora's defense was only the beginning. We have underestimated them at our peril." Elsewhere in the galaxy, humans aboard the Resolute prepared for their next assignment. For Commander Alex Mercer, there was no time for celebration. Humanity's reputation had grown, across species, across star systems, but the galaxy remained vast, full of threats and challenges. Humans did not seek glory. They acted with purpose, driven by duty, and a desire to honor promises. Lieutenant Kira Voss studied the latest intelligence reports. Commander, the Krithar may attempt a coordinated attack on multiple systems simultaneously. They've likely learned from Zyphora, but they still underestimate human adaptability. Mercer nodded. Then we use that. Every prediction they make, every calculation, they assume linear outcomes. We will turn their expectations against them. Humanity never fights alone, and we never overlook a favor. Meanwhile, on Zyphora, the Tralcons celebrated their survival and the humans' extraordinary contributions. Civilians marveled at the advanced technology humans had deployed, from high-speed drones to strategic maneuvers that had turned the tide of battles. Counselor Valira addressed a gathering of citizens and military personnel. Humans do not act for personal gain. They honor life, protect allies, and keep their promises. Today, we live because they repaid a favor with courage, intelligence, and determination. Remember this. Humanity's strength is not just in weapons, it is in their mind, their heart, and their will. The people listened in awe, and even the military officers who prided themselves on discipline and tactics recognized the truth in her words. Humans were extraordinary, not only in power but in the way they thought, acted, and never forgot a debt. Back in deep space, Mercer coordinated the final plan to ensure the Krithar could not recover. This was not about revenge. It was about security, protection, and preventing future destruction. Humans had learned long ago that their actions had consequences, and one favor repaid could create lasting peace or lasting fear, depending on how it was executed. The human strategy was precise. They would divide the Krithar fleet, disable key command vessels, and leave no chance for regrouping. Unlike other species, humans relied on foresight, adaptability, and relentless coordination. "Prepare all squadrons," Mercer ordered. "We hit the Krithar at multiple points simultaneously. Let them feel the results of underestimating humanity." The final engagement began near a dense asteroid field, perfect for tactical maneuvers. Human drones equipped with advanced sensors moved ahead to disrupt enemy shields and communications. Fighter squadrons split into coordinated waves, each attacking key vessels while avoiding predictable patterns. Jace Nolan led a squadron targeting the Krithar command center. "Commander, we are in position. Initiating diversion and strike sequence." The humans' tactics were flawless. Their precision attacks created openings in the Krithar fleet, forcing the enemy into reactive patterns. Every move the Krithar made played into human strategy, and their own strengths became weaknesses under such calculated pressure. Krithar commanders, seeing their fleet falter, attempted desperate countermeasures. They launched missiles, attempted flanking maneuvers, and tried to isolate human units. But Mercer had anticipated each possibility. Humans countered with rapid repositioning, EMP pulses, and coordinated strikes from multiple angles. Voss reported over comms, "Commander, their coordination is collapsing. They cannot keep up with our pace. Every action we take divides their attention further." Mercer's response was calm and measured. "Exactly. This is what humans do. They think, adapt, and act decisively. Keep pressure on them. Victory is in the details." The Krithar flagship, the largest and most heavily defended, became the primary target. Nolan's squadron executed daring maneuvers, threading through asteroid fields and enemy fire to reach critical weak points. Drones disrupted shield generators while capital ships delivered synchronized volleys. Within moments, the flagship was crippled, drifting helplessly through space. The remaining Krithar ships, seeing their command crippled, lost cohesion. Some attempted to flee, but human interceptors cut them off, forcing surrender or destruction. Humanity's strategy had been complete, leaving no opportunity for recovery. On Zyphora, citizens watched the aftermath through holographic projections. Fires of enemy ships and the hum of human vessels dominated the sky. Valira addressed the people. "This is the result of foresight, courage, and intelligence combined. Humans honor life and repay favors, not with words but with action. Their presence has reshaped the outcome of this war and the future of our planet." Tralcan children, inspired by the humans' heroism, whispered among themselves. "I want to be like them," one said. Brave, clever, and always keeping promises. Their words reflected a truth that humans had always known. Legacy was not just in victories, but in the lessons left behind, the courage, intelligence, and honor that inspired others. Mercer addressed his fleet after the battle. "We have demonstrated that humans act decisively when lives are at stake. We protect allies, repay favors, and adapt to challenges. Today, the Krithar learned that underestimating humans is a mistake they will never repeat. Remember this, humanity never overlooks a favor, and when it is repaid, the results can shake worlds. Lieutenant Voss smiled. Do you think the Krithar will recover from this? Mercer's eyes reflected distant stars. They may rebuild, but they will never forget. Humanity's actions have left a permanent mark. The galaxy will remember us not just as fighters, but as a species who honors life, courage, and promises. That is the true power of humanity. As humans departed Zyphora's orbit, leaving a grateful and awed population behind, distant species observed with growing respect and caution. Across the galaxy, tales spread of the humans who never forgot a favor, and whose actions could decide the fate of worlds. Humanity's legend was growing quietly yet decisively. Back on Zyphora, Valira reflected on the lessons learned. We have allies we can trust completely, she said, not because of treaties or politics, but because humanity acts with principle. They have reshaped our understanding of courage, strategy, and loyalty. Their debt to us has been repaid in a way that no one will forget. Even among military strategists and historians, the events were recounted with reverence. The humans' approach to problem-solving, courage under pressure, and precision in action became a study in excellence across the stars. Mercer, aboard the Resolute, looked at the stars with quiet satisfaction. The Krithar had been defeated, Zyphora saved, and a message had been sent across the galaxy. Humanity was a force that could not be underestimated. But he knew this was only the beginning. Prepare for the next mission, he told his crew. The galaxy is vast and challenges will come. But remember this, humans act with purpose, protect life, and repay favors. That is what makes us different. And when we act, we do so decisively. Voss nodded. One day the galaxy will fully understand what that means. Mercer's gaze remained steady. They will, and when they do, the stories of humanity's courage, intelligence, and honor will be remembered for generations. That is the legacy we leave. Across the galaxy, whispers of humanity spread. Allies and enemies alike spoke of the humans who saved Zyphora, repaid their debt, and turned the tide against an overwhelming empire. They were brave, clever, and precise, an unstoppable combination. The Tralcons, inspired and forever grateful, shared the story of the humans' heroism with neighboring systems. Civilians and children alike dreamed of the species that never forgot a favor, and whose courage could shake worlds. Even the Krithar, once arrogant and ruthless, would carry the memory of humans' decisive victories and unmatched strategy. Humanity had proven that strength was not just measured in numbers or firepower, but in intelligence, courage, and unwavering principle. And so, the galaxy knew a new truth. Humans were a force that could not be ignored, a species whose courage, ingenuity, and honor left a permanent mark on every star system they touched.